What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot. My name is Blaiden Kirk, and I'm joined, as always, by the two greatest co-hosts of all time in Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. We have slated potentially the longest episode in Stay Hot history to date, because it's going to be a merge. It's going to be our normal Sunday, Monday content, along with a special Thanksgiving-themed show. So we're going to start with our Stay Hot Shock, the most shocking team that won from the day. Then we're going to do just a recap of Week 11. And then we're going to do a little bit of Thanksgiving talk. We're going to talk about what our favorite foods are, all that stuff.
Best holiday.
And talk about why Thanksgiving is an elite holiday.
Did you say best?
It's up there.
Best.
It's
not the best.
It's not the best. Christmas is the best holiday. But yes. Thanksgiving is the second best holiday.
Thanksgiving's so much more chill. Much more chill holiday.
I guess it depends on how good your family is if you're thinking about that. But
Thanksgiving
is a family holiday too.
Thanksgiving has food, football, and family. You literally cannot do much better than that.
That's all you need. Anything else added? Extra.
That's what I'm saying. Extra. Icing on the cake. Thanksgiving is a fantastic holiday.
We'll talk about this at the end.
Halloween.
Halloween wipes Thanksgiving. Wipes Thanksgiving.
Talking about my family. That you're talking about a friend holiday. We're not telling you. So if you prefer a friend holiday, I don't want to hear anything about me liking my family.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about this at the end. I'll say right now, I think Halloween is better than Thanksgiving, but we can debate this at the end. Let's get into some football.
Great holiday.
Yes.
Well, before we get into football, need to remind everyone to, as always, like, subscribe, do all the great things they've been doing to promote this podcast on all platforms. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on TikTok @StayHotPod. Even though right now we are banned from posting.
Sorry, guys.
Because Theo posted the video of LeBron punching somebody.
I did. They didn't like that.
So we're banned until what is that, Tuesday? We're banned until Tuesday from posting on TikTok. Oh, well, we'll deal with that. Well, we're on the road to 100K, so make sure you still follow us there for content that'll be coming eventually. And then we are still doing the Ed Sheeran hat giveaway to a bunch of our YouTube subscribers. We just gave away 5 of them. So if you want to hear those winners, that was on the last episode. I don't know.
The stockpile's got to be running low. We just sent
it is. I saw the stock of these hats. I saw the stockpile when I went to LA the other day. Jamel Johnson took one of them, so I think we have 3 left.
We only have 3 left?
I believe so.
So
anyway,
running low. Anyway, now we can get into football. The Stay Hot Shock. You know, Theo, I guess, is the only one that isn't shocked by this, but the Texans beating the Titans. What are we doing? Why is the NFL so weird?
Every week, the top seed in the AFC goes down. It's very funny.
It is hilarious. So wait, are they still the 1 seed or no? They should still.
I'm not quite sure how it all works.
I thought they were 2 games ahead.
I think they are.
Because I think the Ravens are only
without looking. I'm going to say
yes. Yes, the Ravens are 7-3. So,
I mean, it's tough to win a game when AJ Brown is banged up. Derrick Henry is out, so you're relying on Adrian Peterson, like Foreman and Jeremy McNichols, and some dude you cut in training camp as a rookie because he was so bad. He was like a major contributor today, like the 4th round pick that they cut in training camp. So there's a lot of horrible players on that Titans offense, and somehow, some way, they've stepped it up and won some games here recently. But every week with them, I'm always a little bit nervous to pick them because of just the talent drain that has happened to that offense.
Ryan Tannehill poo-poo today. Not good.
No, he wasn't. 4 interceptions.
Yeah. PFF is going to have a hard time explaining that one.
They're not going to like it.
They're not going to. Well, it's Tannehill, so they very well may like it. They always seem to give him a high grade no matter what he does. It wasn't really
his fault, you know. It was just, you know, the defense was just.
I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him.
There are some good people at PFF.
The other thing that went into me not locking the Titans today was David Culley is the Texans head coach, and he came from Baltimore. And Baltimore kind of has this rivalry with Tennessee, and I figure their head coach really has spent a lot of time hammering down how to beat the Titans since they played them in the playoffs twice in the last 2 years, regular season one time. So Cully with a mobile quarterback in Tyrod Taylor, I thought he could do a good job kind of emulating the Ravens. And that went into it for me, not locking the Titans, although the Texans still pulling it off. Surprised me a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Okay. I'll give you that then. Theo did his research. I was just like, it's Houston.
Honestly, most weeks that's enough research to get you by. It's Houston. But
Theo just happened to know this one crucial fact. And
everyone knows Cully came from the Ravens. You just got to think about it a little bit harder.
Yeah, I was just like, you were just thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about it.
You got to think about it a little bit.
You don't have the brain power to think about it.
Theo's just so much smarter.
I'm focused on other things.
Even though I texted Spawn Hour, like, what are your locks, like 20 minutes before the game started.
I just like glanced at the schedule and I'm like, I'm going to pick my team this time.
Well, it might not matter if the Chargers let the Steelers come back on them.
Yes, that would be unfortunate for my locks. That one I solely picked because Jerry Tillery is out of the game for the Chargers. That guy
said purely vibes.
You should put a little more brain power into that pick.
I was like, no Jerry Tillery. That guy stinks. He's gone. They're gonna win. You know, that was literally my entire thought process.
I always trick myself with the pass rushing interior defensive linemen, who are not big bodies and not space eaters, I guess. I always, skill set. No.
Yeah, no. This is an interesting year for just dominating the trenches because it seems more important this year than ever. Like the Colts right now just rolled on the Bills. Jonathan Taylor had 5 touchdowns. God. I think they're one of the better teams in the AFC because they actually have that identity and they can actually run the football. Same with the Patriots. I think those are two of the better teams in the AFC, whereas like a team like the Bills and the Chiefs have struggled on offense a little bit because they don't have any kind of running identity. It really does matter, and I think you're going to see it this year. And
that has saved the Browns a lot this year too. Yeah, just being able to run the football because Baker today. I know you guys want to talk about it. He looked horrible.
Not as much as
it's more of the same with Baker. I'm thinking about stamping a Cincinnati and Lakers thing on the Browns, where it's like I think we should suspend talking about him until something changes.
Suspend talking about him until something changes.
Because Baker stinks. He's bad. Man. Maybe it's the injury, or maybe he's just bad.
That's the thing. Like if it's the injury, don't play. You know, if you're
you
hurt,
do kind of you do kind of if you're gonna play hurt. Unless your backup is just like incapable of winning games, which I don't feel like Case Keenum is, then you kind of invite whatever you invite when you play a little bit. There's also it's been a bunch of different injuries this year, hasn't it been?
It's mostly the shoulder, the torn labrum, but like his ankle's been kind of bad too, and like it's a couple of things. But I tweeted, I was like, if you're hurt, don't play. But if you're gonna play, you can't lean on the injury crutch as for why you're playing bad. And someone was like, Baker has a hero complex, and honestly, I can see that.
I agree. I think Baker is probably in some pain, but a lot of this is just Baker being bad. And it's been multiple times at the end of games that are out of hand. He gets hurt and he limps away. And it happens like every week where at the end of the game, he's been playing bad. And all of a sudden, Case Keenum comes in at the end or something, or he's limping off the field. And I'm a little bit suspicious of that. That's all I'll say. I'm a little bit suspicious of him doing that.
It also does not help that he's not throwing to super, super high level receivers. I'll admit I didn't watch this game. But I'm looking at the receiving, and I've never heard of Jamarcus Bradley in my life.
Jamarcus Bradley.
I don't know if that makes. Where is he from?
I don't remember.
You're telling me Jamarcus Bradley isn't a superstar, Blaiden? I can't believe it.
I'm going to keep it real. Like, you know I go to bat for my Browns receivers. Higgins, that's my guy. Like, Anthony Schwartz, love him. But Bradley, of all the Browns receivers, that is probably the worst one.
I would assume so, because no one's ever heard of him in their lives.
But I can't sit here and be like, well, Baker's not throwing to talented guys, because he had a very talented guy and he ended up getting a lot of the blame when things weren't working out.
Yeah.
So,
and the throws in this game, you could have had prime Calvin Johnson out there, and these throws would have missed the mark.
Yeah. He had open guys, and he just missed.
So do you think the Lions win this one with Goff? Were they a Goff away from winning this one?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
No. Goff and Tim Boyle did not play significantly differently than Goff would have.
His QBR was 6.7.
Again, I did not watch.
6.7 out of 100.
But 2 interceptions, 77 yards on 23 throws is as bad as it gets.
Tim Boyle played for the UConn Huskies. And in his UConn Huskies career in college, he threw 1 touchdown and 13 interceptions.
Correct.
Goff is a better quarterback than Tim Boyle. Packers legend Tim Boyle, the Laser Show, had some nice games in preseason. Probably not an NFL quarterback. He threw some horrible throws today. His picks were nowhere close. Goff is bad, but I think that they win this game with Goff. I do. I think that they do. I mean, Baker played so bad. Thought the Browns' offense was so bad.
I thought we were about to see I thought we were about to see the first team ever have 2 ties in an NFL season. Which that is still on the table right now with Chargers Steelers. That is still
What's
very
the score
much
there?
so ones. The score right now is
34-20.
Now it's 20-34.
Oh, so it's not that much on the table. They're up by 2 touchdowns.
But there's like just under 9 minutes. Like there's still time, plenty of time.
I want to go back to the Colts a little bit and Jonathan Taylor's 5 touchdown, 180-yard performance. This guy, I have a question for you guys. We talked a little bit earlier in the year about Derrick Henry's MVP chances, where we're like, yeah, a great quarterback is always more valuable than a number 1 running back. But that's boring. We should just give it to whoever has the best overall season and just ignore the valuable part of that. Do you guys have any shares in the Jonathan Taylor MVP stock right now? Because he's had over 100 yards and a touchdown or something in like 8 straight games.
He's a good game or 2 away from me doing it and pushing it just for the sake of doing it.
In order for Jonathan Taylor to have an MVP season or like MVP talks, he has to be I think he has to be number 1 in touchdowns. I think
he's gonna be number 1 in like right. I
think he's number 1 in rushing yards and touchdowns right now.
He is 3rd in touchdowns.
Was that before the 5 touchdown games?
Actually, you're right. He might be leading in touchdowns.
I think he is. And in a year where it's like, what quarterback are you giving it to right now? Kyler. I wanted to give it to Kyler, but now he's been out a few too many games. I feel like where it is like, I don't feel totally comfortable giving it to him. Dak has had some bad games recently. Brady has had some bad games recently. Like, I don't know. Rodgers is, I think, up there, but I definitely think this is a year where a great running back year could win it.
And you can make the argument for it. Like there's a case for it. He's not really the most valuable player. This is what we said with Henry too. And everyone knows that, but you're forgetting, you're putting that to the side to give it to a non-quarterback to make the award more interesting, and to give it to a guy who has been really valuable to a team who's, like you said earlier, has a rushing identity.
Let's be real. Carson Wentz completed 11 of 20 passes today. Like they do not win that game without Jonathan Taylor. Straight up.
I would agree.
If they're a playoff team, especially if the Titans are on a downward trend, the Colts are now going to have an opportunity to take the South. If they win that division, if they win the division, Taylor's the MVP. Okay. Absolutely, he is.
I agree with you guys. I think that Taylor, I agree. A quarterback is always the MVP, the most valuable player. They are. But I think I agree with you guys in saying MVP, just arguing the word valuable is not as cool as arguing who had the best season. So I don't know if I would give it to Taylor right now, but he's definitely on my radar. He's definitely on my radar now.
Well, another part of it for me, and this is not like some genius point. But the Heisman race is kind of the same, where it's like super wide open, and they're going to probably end up giving it to CJ Stroud just because he's the quarterback who's going to put up the best counting stats. And I'm a little disappointed that that's the way it looks like that race is going to turn out for an award that isn't even listed as like most valuable, just most outstanding.
Right.
So I think if both of these, the MVP and the Heisman are going to be like wide open and anybody can win them, I'd like to at least see one of them not go to just, quarterback with the best counting stats.
Yeah. Do you think there's someone else in college football who is the most outstanding, not named CJ Stroud?
I mean, that's part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
There's nobody else who's really like CJ Stroud isn't even the best player on his own offense. It's the receivers who are so great. And that's not a dig on Stroud. Because his receivers are amazing. And the way that I'm looking at this is if Stroud does win, it's just a de facto way to give it to the entire Ohio State receiving corps, which is not a bad thing. But no, there's nobody else who's quite done enough. So I understand giving it to Stroud, which is, I feel pretty confident that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
Wish it could go to Corral. It's my guy.
It's very interesting. Like Taylor's pre-draft process too was never about anything really on the field. He was someone whose evaluation was like carries. Like he was kind of old, and people don't like older guys in the draft. They like younger guys, which is fair. And like the amount of tread off of his tires already, and you want your rookie, especially running backs, to be really fresh. But I mean, the dude is huge. He ran like a crazy fast 40 time, 4.4. He's like, if you're ranking running backs right now, I think I'd have Henry above him, and I'd probably still have Chubb above him, but that's about it at this point. I mean, that guy is the total package at running back. He can block, he can receive, he runs like he's shot out of a cannon. Like when he gets it out of I formation, he is just moving all the time. Love watching that guy run.
I think what's interesting about that, the carries thing, because that was a problem for Henry as well. He had a ton of carries. It's like, okay, if the logic is you should never give your running backs a second contract like your great running backs off of principle, then maybe it doesn't really matter how much tread they have on the tires, because you don't want to get to the point where that's going to be a problem, Like where that would really start to matter is the second contract. But if you should avoid the second contract entirely, then you shouldn't worry about them having a lot of carries in college.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I mean, usually, like statistically, guys do decline after having a ton of carries, but some guys are just different. And I guess you just got to do a good job scouting which guys are that. And with Taylor's combine performance and his size and his production.
I was about to say, when you have that frame, sometimes you can just withstand stuff. Again, it's just a size. Like Derrick Henry's kind of the same way. You know who else I enjoyed watching run today?
Who?
My guy, Jalen Hurts.
Yes, he has been, and the Eagles have been quite good recently. They have been quite good recently.
So in what world does Jalen Hurts win MVP?
The world where he goes crazy nuclear every single week the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't think he only has like 13 passing touchdowns. There's basically no way, but man.
Yeah.
But man, he's looked good. Devontae's been looking good. I was on a radio show doing a segment for Red Hawk Radio here at Miami, and I talked about the Eagles for a pretty decent portion of it. And honestly, the more I think about it, the Eagles could be back within title contention, I think, by 2025.
Well, anyone could be back in 2025. That is a long ways away.
Okay.
That is a long ways away.
Like 2 years was what I was talking about. I was like if they really mess it up, they could still be fine within like 4 years. But I think you're looking at they have 3 first-round draft picks next year. If they use those properly, you're looking at a really good team in the next year or two.
So do you think Hurts is the guy? Because that's the big question with the rebuild.
And that's the thing is if you're Eagles management, you have to ask yourself, how much do we like Hurts? And Matt, this is something that you pointed out to me when Hurts was a senior, was that he just, every single year, he's always gotten better. And that's happened in the NFL too. I just think he always gets better.
Do you remember watching him his freshman year? I forget who Alabama was playing. I remember I'm like, this guy can completely not throw the ball at all. And now, I mean, he's
that's what I'm
significantly better. The question is,
he was also squatting like 600 pounds as a freshman in college. Like, it was nuts.
He's kind of got to get to the point where, like, right now, Jalen Hurts is, when he has good game, you can ignore a lot of the bad for the good. But if you really want to become a contender, you have to get to the point where it's not just flashes.
Right.
So I don't know how great, like, has he been good, or has he been good for a guy who you're kind of just like letting take the reins on a predicted down year? And
okay, here's the question. Could you replace Jalen Hurts with a better quarterback this offseason?
Well, I don't know if that's the question for talking about the Eagles being a Super Bowl contender. We're talking about whether or not you think he's going to just be good.
He's been good these past couple of weeks, and he's really someone I've perked up a little bit because, again, I tend to back into some takes aging well after I've jumped off of them. And Hurts was a guy I liked a lot coming out of college. I thought he was a really good athlete, a really good runner, and someone who was a little bit underrated as a passer. And he came in his rookie year, and he really looked good at the very beginning when he first came in against like the Saints, the Cardinals, and then he kind of fell off a little bit. And then this year he's been all right. So I'm definitely not out on Jalen Hurts, me personally. And I think I might take him above any of the quarterbacks in this year's draft. And then that's a whole nother year. I think the question is, if a guy like Russ is available, or a guy like Rodgers is available, or a guy like maybe, I don't know, Carr, if there's like a trade you can make with all these first round picks, that's the other thing where it's like, is Hurts worth keeping? So, because the Eagles could make that move. They've got more ammunition than anyone. That's another thing, is like, is Hurts good enough that you wouldn't make that move and you can surround him with things? I don't know. I don't
know if the Eagles are that close to being a contender. Yeah. You'd have to feel really good about the rest of the roster to pull a move like that, even with 3 first-round picks this year. Because then you'd have to pay him, and that's a whole thing. I would agree that maybe if he keeps playing like this, that you give him another year because his quarterback class isn't very strong, and you spend those 3 picks and try to make the rest of the roster good and then go from there.
I would say one more thing about the Eagles. I was talking earlier about how running identity has helped a lot of teams vault themselves into, contention this year. The Eagles are another team that did that. These past couple weeks, they've gone from one of the lowest running rates in the league to running the ball all the time, and they've really seen a lot of benefits from that. So running the football is not dead. There's a lot of teams doing it effectively right now, and a lot of teams reaping those benefits. And the Eagles with Hurts and with the stable of running backs. With the stable of running backs, they have done a nice job on the ground, and they've seen a lot of good things come of it these past couple weeks.
Oh, I didn't even peep. They ran the ball 50 times today.
Yeah. No, they went from
absurd.
Like against the Cowboys, what? Did they run it like 5 times? It was something ridiculous. And now they're like, okay, we're going to run the ball all the time.
Every play.
Much. And it's really helped them out. So running the football is not dead, man. It's not dead. Some of the best teams in the league.
39 times against the Broncos.
Yeah. Some of the best teams in the league right now are doing it on the ground.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles have just been impressive, I think, in a lot of different ways. But Jalen Hurts,
and their schedule is really easy. Their schedule is really easy going forward. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see this Eagles team in the playoffs.
The way I see it is like them and the Cowboys. Like the Cowboys window will close probably right around the same time that the Eagles window opens. That's going to be my take on it.
I don't know. You got Parsons. You got Gregory. You got Dak under contract for a while. CeeDee Lamb is young. I think the Cowboys will have a couple more years.
But how much time do you have on that offensive line? I think that's the big thing.
That's true. Zach Martin is getting old. Tyron Smith is getting old. I can see that being the most valid thing. Yeah, Blaiden, you're right.
Losing their O-line. I don't know. Steelers are down 7 27-34. I saw Ben Roethlisberger fumbled earlier, but looks like they found a way.
He's been playing well today.
Has he?
He's been playing well.
I haven't been paying attention to the game. I'm just watching the box score. Normally I do have the game up, but yeah, no.
He underthrew a pretty bad pass. Claypool was wide open for a touchdown, and he underthrew him, and it was just a big play instead of a touchdown. But he's been hitting. Deontay Johnson had some great catches, but they were also great throws. His first half, he was pretty sharp, and they still didn't put up that many points.
I saw your tweet about Najee Harris, and I was I watched that play, and then I saw you tweet it, and I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, why did he just not run forwards?
Yeah, Najee Harris is someone that the Steelers fans love and has good counting stats, but man, that guy averages 3.5 yards per attempt.
And it's not just the Steelers have not been good running the ball.
It's not all the offensive line, and that was the perfect example of it on my Twitter. You can check it out if you scroll back. People listening, there's a play where he gets it and just keep going straight, man. He cuts it and runs horizontally when he could have just kept going straight and picked up a first down. And he gets tackled, and Big Ben, you can see him. And this is what makes it so good: is Big Ben is visibly frustrated. He goes over to him and he's like, "Dude," he points towards the first down marker, go, go forward, dude. What are you doing, man? Going that way,
arms up,
yeah, yes, it was like that. So yeah, Najee Harris is. I think James Conner is a better running back than Najee Harris right now. I really do. So, and that's not a great thing when you're running back. And Steelers fans, I can tell they're going to be mad at me. But man, Najee Harris's vision is not where it needs to be right now as a rookie. And that he is a rookie, but rookie running backs, they're kind of prime time to be good. And he is just not picking up a lot of big gains. He is not breaking off a lot of big gains. And it's not all the offensive line. It's not.
Well, Theo, it's about high time we talked about a special game that happened today in which the Minnesota Vikings finally got a game-winning field goal.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a couple this year. They've had a couple game-winning plays this year. A lot of close games. Look, this was the best game Rodgers has played all year for Green Bay. He was on fire. The touchdown to DeGuara was crazy. The touchdown to Valdez-Scantling was perfect. He was playing so well, and especially in the second half, he started off a little bit rattled, but in about the second quarter, right before halftime, in the second half, he was just a flamethrower. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. The secondary got exposed in this game without Jair Alexander. Stokes.
I didn't think Kirk Cousins played all that well. Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson were just making plays left and right. It was nuts.
Kirk got bailed out of a lot of potential turnovers. I think Stokes dropped one. Savage should have had two. There was one other one that I think got dropped. He could have had 4 picks today if he was super unlucky. He did do a nice job against the blitz because the line was getting pressure. I mean, he was under pressure in this game. He was just firing off a lot of shots under pressure, and some of them should have been picked. But he also did an admirable job. I mean, that touchdown to Jefferson was pretty good. I didn't think he played horrible. He had really good stats, really good stats.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he played a 350-yard, 3-touchdown level performance where you're like,
yeah,
wow,
it wasn't quite as good as the stats suggest because of all the dropped picks, but it wasn't a bad game. It wasn't a bad game, but it wasn't quite as great as the stats would suggest. But yeah, the secondary in this game, they've been holding up admirably these last couple of weeks, but Jefferson and Thielen really, really cooked him. And I think Jefferson is super special. I think he's the 4th best wide receiver in football is where I'm going to choose to rank him.
Some high praise.
Yeah, well, he's earned it, man. I mean, what did he do last year and what's he on pace to do this year?
Yeah, you're right.
There's no flaw in his game. I dare someone to point one out.
You know who else had a great game today? And I don't want to make Matt sad, but Cam Newton.
Yep. No, defense sold for the Panthers. Dante Jackson, not good.
Oh, we were just saying nice things. I was saying nice things about him at least.
He makes a nice highlight play every once in a while, but he can't guard anyone. He can't cover. I mean, he got cooked by Terry McLaurin. And with Dante Jackson, he's so athletic. He's so fast. He can jump so high. So he has to really get beat to get beat. And he still does. It makes no difference. I didn't think that Heineke played that amazing. He had a couple nice plays. I just thought the Panthers' secondary was miserable. They refused to put Gilmore on McLaurin. I can't explain it. Their run defense is not.
Is that not what we
strong.
discussed last episode? Like,
That's
oh,
what
you imagine they'll just put Gilmore. They'll just put Gilmore on McLaurin.
That's what they should do. I think, and the offense was fine. A lot of it was. It just seemed like they're still trying to work in Cam. And I mean, they had a chance to win it towards the end, and it just didn't work out. Cam played really well, all things considered. But of all the games for the defense to choose to be shitty, this is a bad one to do it. It's
That was a bad one to do it.
Cam's homecoming, like, come on, bro.
And he's still almost. If he had drove down the field and scored that touchdown, I had some great tweets lined up. That's the real tragedy.
I was like, I was recording I posted a TikTok about like my live reaction to like that potential game-winning drive, and like as he gets sacked, I'm just like, no.
No, the Panthers
like,
are just.
I could literally feel my heart breaking.
They don't want to win. Sadly, not a serious team. They don't win games that they need to win. They're a lot of things went wrong for them. The NFC today, so I don't know where they're sitting, but they're behind the Eagles. The Vikings are catching up. 49ers are ahead of them now. So, I mean, it's a long season, a lot of games left to be played, but they got to be better. And it sucks for Cam.
Hey,
Yeah,
if Cam
and I want
continues
to talk
play the way he did, they always have a chance.
He was pretty good in this game. I was kind of watching it on and off. This wasn't one I was paying a close attention to because it was at the same time of the Packers game. But I was definitely tuning into it. And man, McLaurin is another guy where it's like, holy cow, the degree of difficulty on some of the catches he's made this year. He might have 2 catches of the year. The one where I think it may have been week 1 where he tracked the ball like over his shoulder and was almost doing the limbo backwards to track it. I think it was against the Chargers. And last week he just got like lit up helmet to helmet and a crucial 3rd down against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and still managed to hold onto the ball and not die when he got speared like that. And then today, I mean, he was catching some insane passes against Carolina. So he's someone that also I heavily consider like as a top 10 wide receiver. And he's not really underrated because everyone thinks he's underrated, but he is really, really good. And he's been playing out of his mind this year.
I'm convinced that Terry McLaurin and Tyler Lockett train together. No one tracks footballs better than those two.
Yeah, that's something we were talking about Ohio State wide receivers earlier. Olave does that super well. He had a catch in the last Ohio State game where he was really like almost falling forward, looking backwards, tracking the ball into his hand. And I was like, that's a very McLaurin, who went to Ohio State as well. So maybe that's something they focus on in recruiting or something, because Olave does a great job with that. He's someone that stands out to me with ball tracking.
Yeah, I agree. That's a guy who has struck me as having very high receiver skills. Mm-hmm. If I had to gamble on one prospect being really good in the NFL, it would be Olave. I'm stunned he didn't come out last year, but he shout out to him. He has the all-time receiving touchdowns record at Ohio State now.
Wow,
and that skill makes deep ball accuracy kind of a wide receiver stat. Like you think about Russell Wilson, how accurate he is on deep balls. It helps that you've got Tyler Lockett, who is one of the best deep ball trackers in the world, who can, look over his shoulder and get himself in just the right spot that it hits him in stride. And then you're like, holy cow, what a dime by Russell Wilson. And it is like, it's not a bad throw at all, but when it hits him right in the outstretched hands, a lot of that is the wide receiver knowing exactly where to be. Yeah. So that's just one thing about like football stats and how connected everything is to someone else. It's something that struck me the other day.
It is really
watching
hard to
Lockett.
Do. Like that one catch that Lockett has like in the back corner of the end zone that everyone points to. There's like, he had like a 6% chance of catching that. That is one of the craziest catches I've ever seen.
And
just
I've noticed that's such an impressive skill to have because my in-air tracking of objects is awful. I never know where things are going to go. I don't know if you two have this problem, but I've noticed I'm like incredibly bad at that.
I would say rating my abilities as a wide receiver, I think I have okay tracking of the ball. I just don't really have soft hands. I don't have soft hands. I will get my hands where they need to be. I can flash late hands and get the ball like bang right in the mitts. But I just don't have soft hands that really envelop the ball like some of these great wide receivers in the NFL.
You're more of a corner.
I'm more of a corner. I think I've got decent movement skills, fluid hips. I know how to set up a route.
Always go to play corner.
But, hands aren't super huge. I don't really have the soft hands you look for. I'm more of a body catcher, So that's my problem as at wide receiver.
We make fun of body catchers at receiver.
Yeah. So, I know.
Yeah, it's
maybe
okay.
A safety.
I consider myself a pretty decent receiver. Well, solid routes.
You did play it.
So
started varsity.
You did.
Until I broke my collarbone.
It counts to me.
It counts to me. Didn't actually start in a game.
Oh.
I did. Yeah, I broke it in practice. No, I broke it in practice, and then they tried to ease me back.
I say you started varsity. People every once in a while, someone asks me, I just say you started varsity. It's true. I don't care.
You were going to start varsity.
I was like starting in practice like the week before our first game, and then I broke my collarbone. So like it is what it is.
Lawler bone.
You win some, you lose some. Baller bone.
All right, what other games happened today?
Okay, a game that I thought was going to be a lot better than it was. Dallas and Kansas City.
Right.
That game kind of sucked.
To talk to.
That's a perfect example of an NFL game that's close but is not fun to watch.
That game sucked. Like straight up.
Yeah.
Both quarterbacks played awful. And really, I don't know if Mahomes played. I don't think Mahomes played that bad, but like he was 23 for 37, 260 yards a pick. His QBR was 45.7.
The pick was not his fault once again.
Dak's QBR was 10.
Dak played bad.
Dak was awful. And honestly,
Dak played bad.
There were
so many drops.
That's what I was about to say. Early on, I was like, Dak wasn't playing that bad. There were so many drops. And then
for both teams,
and then Dak started playing bad.
It was ugly.
But the interception was Kelsey's fault.
Yes, if all the passes got caught, both quarterbacks would have been significantly better number-wise. I didn't think it was like a horrific game for Mahomes. There was just a lot of drops. And the game was pretty much in hand early, and I think they just weren't super, super intense. That's kind of the feeling that was in this game. It was just sloppy play all around. I didn't think it was like a horrible game for Mahomes. Dak didn't play great, but again, missing CeeDee Lamb for the second half. Missing Amari Cooper the entire time.
CeeDee Lamb wasn't even playing that well when he had him.
Yeah.
I don't know. They tried to use Gallup a little bit
in this game, except for Chris Jones.
No, okay, yeah, no. Chris Jones balled out. I will give you that one. Chris Jones balled out. I think he had a strip sack on Dak. Did he not?
He did everything. He had I can't totally remember, but all I remember from Chris Jones is he just was killing every single lineman they put up. I don't know how many pressures he had today. It had to have been at least like 7 or 8. He was a menace to society in this game. And that's something you've been looking for with Chris Jones and this Chiefs defense. They've been experimenting, putting him at edge like over and over this year, and he just hasn't been quite as effective as he was in year past. But today, the real Chris Jones stood up, and this Chiefs defense over the past couple of games has looked real good. It was, I said earlier in the year where I thought it was mostly communications problems that was happening with the Chiefs defense. Tyrann Mathieu, we've all seen him with his arms up, like what is going on? I thought it was mostly just like guys not lining up right, blowing assignments. It was so much of that. And I said earlier that I think that they can get this worked out, but hopefully it won't be too late by the time that happens. They're starting to get things worked out, and it's not too late. They can definitely make a run at the AFC the way things are looking.
I think it'd be very funny if we go through all this drama this year. It's like, oh, it's the craziest year. It's the most insane year. And we just get like Bucks Chiefs again.
It's very possible.
That would be just like the worst. We have like the craziest regular season of all time that just ends in the most common Super Bowl possible.
Ends with Chiefs
just like
one
basic
seed.
preseason favorites. Just go. But no, the Chiefs defense has been quite good. I mean, their last 4 games, all wins, 9, 14, 7, and 17 points allowed.
Yeah.
That's good.
Steelers. It's not bad. Steelers, Chargers. Steelers up 3.
No, I need the locks to hit. I need the locks to hit. It's been so long since any of us have gotten any points on the locks.
We just gotta every week I'm like, I'm gonna just put like one team. I'm gonna put like 2 teams. And then every time
3.
I'm like, but what if I get 5? And then I'll be winning. And it never works.
You putting the Panthers, I thought was a little rough for you. Not only did your lock not hit,
in my team.
Not only did your lock not hit.
Then my team also lost. That's a really, really interesting point. Yes, and it fucking sucks, dude. It's terrible. I can't believe that it was the defense that cost us the game. I can't believe they looked that bad against Washington at home. Everyone was so excited, and they let everyone down.
I was excited.
At least you guys scored first, and Cam had that nice moment where he celebrated and he ran to the midfield, and you
telling my kids about that.
So cool.
I think
that
when you go
so well. Cool.
In years, next year and years beyond, you will talk about those moments will have brought you more joy when they happened than the loss stings. I bet you that. I bet you those two moments.
Imagine being in that
this is
stadium
crushing
when
me
it
right
happened.
now.
What if you won 3-0? Cam had played a bad game, and you won ugly, and the defense played really well, but Cam played bad.
That's a good point. That might be worse.
That would be worse.
It would be worse for the agenda. At least I can say
those are the two extremes. Your best case scenario, like I don't know. I feel like you got the two
both
extremes
Cam and the defense to play good.
Well, yeah, obviously
everyone to play good and us to win.
But the Cam agenda can move. At this point, the Cam agenda is more important than the Panthers in the playoffs, at least to me. I don't know about you. But if Cam came out and looked like a total fraud and they won because Washington couldn't put any points up on the board, that would not feel great for you looking ahead. Now, at least you can look forward to Cam is pretty good, and we will see good Cam the rest of the year.
Because on the bright side,
or something.
On the bright side, it's like had Sam Darnold played today, you would have gotten throttled. you would have gotten blown out. So like,
but it just
to that regard, you got to be a little bit happy. You got to see Cam Newton go in the
I guess my point of view should be we were so close to like the best possible outcome where the defense plays bad and Cam Newton is just too good and they win anyway. And he has like a last second drive.
I thought that was going to happen. Again, like I recorded the video.
I started to believe that the magic was going to happen again and that everything was always going to go our way forever. And then we were going to win the rest of our games and win the Super Bowl. But instead, I believe we won't win any more.
A Browns-Panthers Super Bowl.
I don't know about the other part.
Yeah, let's try to beat the Lions by more than 3 next time, Browns. Hey, another game that happened today.
The Ravens beat the Lions by, what was it, 2? 1?
3.
Like,
3. I don't know what it was, but you're right. Well, the Ravens are tough. That's another game that happened today. Lamar was out. Fields was out, so no one's going to really talk about it. But the Ravens are lucky to win this game because their schedule is brutal the rest of the way. This was a gimme, the last gimme that they had, and they were lucky to win it. So that's all I'll say about this. That's really all I have to say about this game.
Yeah, it was not a good game to watch. I'm going to be very honest. That was except like Andy Dalton threw 2 touchdowns, which is weird.
Andy Dalton was not that bad. Like, I honestly still think that it's possible that Andy Dalton is better than Justin Fields. Like at this very moment, I think like Fields has been playing.
That is strictly because Andy Dalton understands how NFL pressure works, and Justin Fields doesn't yet.
Yes. It's not saying that like Justin Fields is going to be a bust or anything. I just think like Andy Dalton gives you as good of a chance as Fields does, because Fields has played well, like in some of these games. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be a good player, but it's like he wasn't really getting anything going against those Ravens blitzes, and Dalton has seen it before, and that's all it comes down to.
Didn't
so
Fields,
when he gets hurt,
his rib though.
Is that what it was?
That's what they were saying. He's hurt, and they're like,
yeah, he was hurt.
They're trying to make sure that it's not broken. That's the only thing. Is Matt Nagy didn't hear about it broken yet.
Dalton gives them a solid shot to win is about as much as Hurts does at Hurts.
Given they're 3-7, so like
this year,
how much does winning like?
So that was my takeaway mostly from this is like, man, they were lucky that they won this game, Ravens, because it gets tough.
I'm surprised that I didn't hear more about Mooney having 120 yards from Twitter.
Oh yeah, he had a good game.
I thought we were going to hear about it, because people talked all offseason about it's Mooney season, baby.
Yeah, that's just because they didn't like Ramsey. They never loved Mooney. Like they said they did this offseason, but it was mostly just because they hated Ramsey, because he hit him with that double move that one time. And that just kind of became a joke that he owns Ramsey. People never really cared that much about Mooney. They just like to clown on Ramsey.
It's kind of sad.
That's tough.
It is.
Yeah, that is kind of sad.
They never cared.
You know what else is kind of sad? That we had the supposed game of the week be terrible, and yet Dolphins-Jets was kind of entertaining. as entertaining as Dolphins versus Jets can be. You know,
kind of the same deal with Flacco. With Dalton is Flacco might give him the best chance to win of any of the quarterbacks on their roster right now, just because he's seen things before. Flacco actually played a respectable game for a backup.
291 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And
like that's
Elijah Moore. That's who I really want to talk to about in this game. Masterclass game from him. A dude I really liked coming out of the draft. He had the best hands in the draft, in my opinion. He was someone who was. Caught
Bateman
everything.
Had the best hands in the draft.
Bateman had really good hands, but Moore probably had the fewest drops, I would say. Maybe his catch radius isn't as big as Bateman, but he just never dropped anything. Pretty solid route runner, kind of undersized, but he was someone I really liked just because he caught everything. Really tough little guy, good route runner. Gave him a first round grade. He won the second round.
I mostly just wanted to give a little bit of Tua praise because I thought Tua played a pretty good game.
You can get to that. I just want to say, Elijah Moore, good job. Played really well. I love the Jets draft outside of their number 2 overall pick, Zach Wilson. Everyone else I like, though.
Zachary Wilson.
Everyone else. I don't like Zachary Wilson. Everyone else I do like. Go ahead about Tua, though. Go ahead about Tua.
Tua played a really good game. I've slandered Tua for a long time. He was like, of all the quarterbacks that came out in 2020, it was like Burrow was QB1. Herbert was QB2. Hurts was QB3.
Oh, for you.
For me. Those were my guys. And then, I even had Jordan Love above Tua. I did not like Tua at all. And even Reese, a lot of, stuff is, confirmed that notion that I should not have liked Tua. But today he had a pretty good game. He did convert that one deep pass, which is something that, up until this point, I did not believe he could do at an NFL level. I was just convinced that he could.
Wasn't he wide open though? The guy who completed that too. There was no one within
wide open
10
but
yards of him.
It went 55 yards. It was a nice throw down the field.
I can throw it 45 yards down the field, so I'm not impressed for an NFL guy.
But I don't see you doing it on Sundays.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying I'm as good as Tua. I'm just saying
45. Throwing 55 yards with a 6'7" dude standing in front of you, and you gotta
saying that. I'm saying
it's
that
not just you're throwing it straight. You have to throw it to the sideline.
Every NFL quarterback can hit an open wide receiver down the field. Everyone.
Yes.
So if that's what Tua had a great game, if that's why Tua had a great game, I'm still not impressed.
That was just an example. But Tua did have an okay game, a better game than I expected. He got the Dolphins to 24 points, which means I made some money. So as far as I'm concerned, great job, it means
Tua.
you didn't lose money because they voided that bet.
They did, but the parlay didn't lose because of it. So I made money because he hit 24 points.
I resent that because I'm a big believer with the stay hot locks that a tie is a null. And you guys are like, no, that's not how it should work. So then with you getting away with basically the same rule with your parlay hurts me a little bit because I know you don't believe in that system.
I thought I lost the bet because I bet over 24 points and they hit exactly 24 points. And I'm like, well, I didn't win the bet. It didn't hit over 24 points.
He was under the impression.
Fraudulent win.
I checked the WinBet app and I was like, oh my God, I didn't win as much because it was a 3-leg parlay. 2 of them hit. I bet over on the Texans points because I thought the Texans would have a pretty good game and their points were obscenely low because they're the Texans. Mm-hmm. Over the Texans points and then Patriots -3.5. Those both hit. And then I had the Dolphins scoring over 24 points. The 24 points part got voided. It's like it didn't happen. It was pretty much a 2-leg parlay is what happened. I thought I lost the whole thing.
Mickey Mouse parlay. You won the money.
Mickey Mouse.
But you probably don't feel great about it.
Yeah, I'll give it all the way.
Chargers.
Yes, they did take the lead. I'm kind of mad we're missing this game with this podcast. Like, how is this a 41-37 game right now?
Game of the week now.
Pittsburgh has scored 27 points in the fourth quarter. I'm going to have to watch this one back when the All-22 comes out because this has been quite the entertaining fourth quarter, apparently. My roommate's in the other room, like screaming and yelling and hooting and hollering. So,
and we
I don't know.
Can't
I hope
hear it.
Like,
that just speaks to the quality of our mics right now.
It does.
We should just do a sponsor ad of our mics.
I'm going to run this by you guys. Mm-hmm. Justin Herbert is a top 3 quarterback. Thoughts?
Mahomes, I assume is 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rodgers, I assume is 2.
Yeah.
You would take Herbert over Allen?
I would. I think Herbert's a little bit more accurate, and I think he makes better decisions. And they're like similar caliber athletes to me. I would. I think Brady. He's a much better athlete than Brady is at this point.
Yes,
but
a lot of quarterbacks have always been better athletes than Brady. That's never stopped.
That is true, but I think if you put him in that Tampa Bay offense, I think he would be just as productive, if not more. I think he honestly might be more accurate than Brady, and he's hit more like wow throws this year. By a lot.
I think with that take, he's like, if he's not now, he's going to be. So go ahead and say it now. And then even if it isn't really quite true yet, when it eventually does become true, you can be like, I knew the whole time. I was on this before everybody else. You can't lose with that one.
But I do believe it right now. Like, that is true. Like, I think this is going to do nothing but age well, where like eventually it'll just become true because he's that good. But you bring me any quarterback not named Herbert, and I think I can make a pretty solid case that Herbert is better than them. Even with Rodgers and Mahomes, I could argue like Herbert is playing just as well. Like Dak, I think he's better than. I think he's a better athlete than Dak, especially with all the injuries Dak has had recently. Has kind of sapped his athleticism. His arm is stronger. He's just as good as a decision maker, just as good in the pocket. So I'd put him above Dak. Lamar is the one guy. Lamar is the one I can maybe see putting above
Lamar.
Him. And Kyler I can respect because Kyler is so like same kind of deal. Like that dual threat ability is just so good to have. But Kyler's been banged up 2 out of 3 years. He's so small.
A, for health, and B, Kyler's short, and I do think that hurts him a little bit. What about Russ? What about Russ? How do you feel about
Russ? Has been bad for the man since the beginning half of 2020. Russ has just been bad, and Russ, I think his deep ball is good, but like dink and dunk over the middle of the field, I just don't love Russ for that. I think Herbert is a better guy to keep you on track. Russ has been good for a long time with these deep shots and super accurate and a good mobile quarterback and a really good quarterback. But I think there's a reason why it's always been kind of let Russ cook. And there's a reason he's been limited. And that's why they wanted to let Russ cook, because he was good in a limited amount of time. And now that they've kind of let Russ cook these last 2 years, he hasn't really been able to go through on that. I would rather let Herbert cook than let Russ cook. That's all I'll say.
I guess that's fair.
So with any quarterback, I think I can make a pretty good argument that Herbert has the better skill set and Herbert's the superior player. Like with any quarter, except for Mahomes and Rodgers.
I think what we should do is when our TikTok is unbanned, we should make each of us do a video of our top 5 quarterbacks.
It can get pretty brutal out there with that.
I might do my top 5 NBA players.
Okay. I said Herbert's top 3 on TikTok on Theo Ash NFL, and I'm getting killed for it in the comments.
Who's like the number one guy they're saying you're a jerk for not putting?
No one. They're not saying anyone. They're just like, this is so dumb. But they're
eventually,
not really,
I don't know how far out we are, but it will become the consensus
There is a
opinion
reason why we have a
like,
podcast and they don't, right? We don't apologize for takes here. Like,
I have a podcast. I'm right.
yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
That's kind of a fallacy.
Like, I suppose.
I'm going to start replying. This is why you're not on Stay Hot.
I got in an argument with Scott Van Pelt one time, and basically he pretty much said that. He's like, I'm on TV. I've interviewed people. You've never done that. And
what were you guys arguing about?
Michael Jordan versus LeBron all time. That's what we were arguing about.
I think that's a little bit different.
It's not. He literally said, I have it. Like, you can look at the tweet.
When you're measuring levels of success and fame, like, that's different versus, like, I have done something versus you're not even trying to do it.
This was before the Stay Hot podcast.
Oh, okay.
This was when
Never
I was.
mind. I thought you were talking about like that happened recently.
Well, he thought it was a mic drop, and then I said something back about how other people with TV shows have done this thing, and then he replied again. He wanted to end it on that, but I had a good response, and he had to respond again, and I kind of kept it. And then
you won.
So really, I won. I think I won that debate. I do. Scott, I love you, dude.
And ask him.
We will.
You've beaten Dave Portnoy too, so like,
yeah. That was. I've had a couple run-ins with some high-profile people. Is
that it for the NFL?
I think so.
The only thing I want to point out before we move on to Thanksgiving, because I know we want to talk about that, the final drive for the Steelers is something that I don't even know how to. Are you looking at it, Theo? Look at the play.
I just saw that they won, and I all my locks. Yeah. No, I just saw all my locks hit.
The final drive for Pittsburgh goes as follows: 1st and 10 at Pittsburgh's 25. Ben Roethlisberger sacked for 8 yards.
Mm-hmm.
2nd down and 18 at Pittsburgh 17. Ben Roethlisberger sacked for 11 yards. 3rd down and 29 at Pittsburgh 6. Ben Roethlisberger incomplete.
I wonder how far that pass went in the air. They're down in 29.
Probably not far.
If you could figure that out while we talk about Thanksgiving, but it is
4th down
soon
and
Thanksgiving.
Penalty, delay a game, and then incomplete to Washington, and that was it.
Fair enough.
4th and 32. They went backwards the whole drive. I just thought that was funny. But
that
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving cometh. I have some Thanksgiving takes. First of all, the white meat on turkey, not good.
I agree.
The worst. You agree?
The white.
Yes.
Like there's dark meat and light meat.
Like I don't like white meat. Period. Like white meat chicken. Like grilled chicken is an L meal. Like overall,
bad. Grilled chicken sandwiches are good. They're healthy. And they do a really good job balancing those two things. That's hard to find tasty things that are super healthy.
I think they're
grilled chicken sandwiches are kind of fire.
If you can cook it right, fine. But most people that cook it, it's dry.
You got to get the sauce right. You got to get the sauce right because it is kind of bland. Like
it's not even about the sauce. Just like
chicken.
Season it properly.
Well, yeah.
Just like season your chicken properly. And a lot of people, like, especially like, I don't know. It's just like there's a lot of people that don't season their chicken well.
White people? Is that what you wanted to say?
I did not say that. I did not
You'd be
say
right.
that.
You'd be right.
That's going on TikTok.
I'm more of a ham fella.
Okay.
I can respect the taste. I love the ham. Actually, I think that this should be the consensus take. I'll go as far to say that the hams are better. I'm thinking about it now.
Should be eating on Thanksgiving.
This is why Christmas is better than Thanksgiving, is because turkey is not an elite food.
Bro, you can just make a ham.
But we can't make a ham. We always have turkey.
That's your fault.
That's not my fault. It's my family's fault.
No, this is your family is ruining Thanksgiving for you.
They're not ruining. It's still a good meal, but
then
you can have
make a ham.
You can. Well, they'll never do it because they don't like ham.
You will enjoy
like
honey-baked ham.
No, they don't like
you
ham.
will a turkey.
I've had ham at other people's houses, and that's it because my mom does not like ham that much. They love turkey though. But turkey is probably the worst meat.
You had like a hamless childhood.
I had no ham, except for at like school lunches. So it wasn't completely hamless. But yes, at home, no ham.
I'm a big ham guy. Mashed potatoes is my favorite food.
Yes.
Mashed potatoes.
That's great. We have corn souffle.
Corn review? Corn souffle
corn
review?
souffle
I shouldn't have
review?
brought that up. But corn souffle, very good.
Very good. What else?
I like
Go into more detail.
I like cranberry sauce. It's meant to break up everything else. It's a little sweet. It's a little tart. It breaks up everything else.
I'm not a big fan of cranberry sauce.
I think people who like get real
That is the
worked up
one
about
thing
that,
I
and you'll
like.
see like no one likes cranberry sauce. You guys are babies. Oh my, you can't just I can't just devour only savory things one after another. I love stuffing. Stuffing's really good. There's just a lot of good Thanksgiving food. It's such a good combo. Everything together. We don't really do mac and cheese, but mac and cheese, if you consider that a Thanksgiving-y food, that's another great one.
I think you can eat mac and cheese anytime, especially if there's someone in your family that makes a really good mac and cheese. But the food that I think that is particularly prime in Thanksgiving, sweet potato casserole.
Sweet potatoes are... Oh, I forgot to say this with food that is bad. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes suck. Sorry.
Yo, hold on. Are we able to like kick Theo out of the podcast room? Is that something we're allowed to do mid-recording? Like,
Sorry.
I have some terrible news. Sweet potatoes.
They're
not
ass.
good.
They're ass. I never eat them, so I forgot that I don't like them. Sweet potatoes
I
are
will do this podcast
such a waste
solo.
of time.
Nothing was worse. We used to have at school, we'd have sweet potato fries, and they were so
bad.
trash. Oh
Dude,
my God.
like,
What is it with people?
Why do they try to make them happen?
Different. Sweet potato casserole rules.
You might be
I'll
right,
give you
but
that
I'm not going
to like
I'm not
a lot of dishes with sweet potato, not very good, right? And sweet potatoes on their own are only all right, but sweet potato casserole, an amazing dish. And anyone that disagrees is just wrong. I'm sorry. There is no
I'm very
other
dubious of this because sweet potatoes are bad and casserole is mid at best. So if you combine
I
both of those
promise you,
things, I'm really not optimistic. There are some good ones, but overall, I'm not the world's biggest casserole guy. Not the world's biggest. I can eat it, but
if
put
your
something in a
family
casserole,
makes a sweet potato casserole, please try some. It is so
I will
good.
try it.
No.
I won't try.
I'm not trying.
Spite you.
I will not.
Lemon.
No, it is
my favorite
such
Thanksgiving
a
meal is lemon ice cream, sweet potato casserole, corn.
For a second, I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Lemon ice cream.
Ice cream.
Lemon ice cream with Thanksgiving.
There is nothing wrong
and sweet
with
potato
lemon ice
casserole.
cream. But I will
I'm
not
sure there's not.
eat lemon ice cream at Thanksgiving. I promise.
But I don't get what your problem with Thanksgiving is.
I don't have a problem with it, but it's just the meal, really. Like on Christmas, you pretty much get the Thanksgiving meal with a ton of other stuff. You get presents, you get the aesthetic, you get the music, you get like all these things that are like, and Thanksgiving is literally in there, the big meal, but you get all these other things as well. And I also prefer Halloween to Thanksgiving because
that just makes no sense.
Halloween, I feel like I've said this on the podcast before, worse than a normal day.
Whoa! I had so much fun this.
Okay, Matt. I had
so much fun
with you on that.
I always
than a
have so
normal
much
day.
fun on Halloween. I have always had
Dress
so
up
much
now.
fun. Well, I won't do it every day, but like once a year, you dress up as something cool. I like doing it.
Yeah.
I like the challenge of being like a costume party. Let's think of a good thing. Like I said, never repeat costumes. I went to a bunch of costume parties. I had fun at all of them. I got a lot of candy. As a kid, you love it because you get a lot of candy. Like that's a big part of it. I love to dress up. I like to be creative.
You have the same favorite holiday as like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Christmas
Matt
too.
just doesn't like to
fine.
stick to his childhood roots. That's all.
Well,
that
it gets
we're hearing.
different. It's different.
None of you guys
guys
are more mature than you guys. That's really what it comes down
here's
to.
what it comes down to. I'm 21 years old, so I can actually go to fun Halloween parties, unlike you guys who are underage.
Yeah, that's that must be it.
Yes.
I will say this: I like Halloween, but I like it in the same way that I like the 4th of July. They're
4th of
very
July
much
also
so on the same plane of existence as far as parties.
I prefer 4th of July to
holidays.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, come on.
It's your birth. First of all, it's Matt's birthday.
See, I feel like I can't speak on this subject because it doesn't really count for me.
Yeah, you have some special circumstances.
Same concept as Thanksgiving. I just like the Thanksgiving meal a little bit more. I feel like it's a little bit.
I like
know
ribs
that
more
might
than
seem like
Thanksgiving
a hot
meal is
take.
better than like a barbecue. Absolutely.
I would disagree. I think barbecue is a little bit better. I mean, again,
no way. There is no way you believe
corn on the
that.
cob in summer. First of all, I have a cabin. So we go up to the cabin. It's summer. We're with the family. We're swimming around on kayaks or whatever. We're doing all these fun things. The weather is better. I would prefer a good thing of like ribs and corn on the cob to a Thanksgiving meal.
You're showing that you're a casual. No football. That's the problem.
No football. Football is true. But, I can fire up Game Pass and watch an old game if I want to. Plus, what's the game on Thanksgiving this year? It's like Lions-Bears.
Okay, but it's always the Lions always play on Thanksgiving.
This is why it's a mid-holiday.
That's the thing, though.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, imagine this. Imagine your parents getting to watch like Barry Sanders on Thanksgiving. That'd be awesome.
This is not a good.
Nothing for me.
That does nothing for me. Oh, they watch a good running back and like the. I mean, I like football on Thanksgiving. I like Thanksgiving. It's definitely a lot better than a normal day. But even like New Year's, a big party with your friends, like I almost.
This dude said New Year. You think
muted.
New Year's is better than Thanksgiving?
Yes.
No.
I might say that because it's a big party with all your friends. It's ringing in the new year.
No,
what can I say?
You cannot tell me that you think New Year's, Halloween, and the 4th of July are better than Thanksgiving.
Oh, when you say it out loud, you are spitting. I might die on that hill. Look, Thanksgiving is really good. Maybe not New Year's, but I would say 4th of July. If
you like New Year's more than Thanksgiving, you don't love your family.
Okay, I do like Thanksgiving more than New Year's.
I do like my
This dude's just
family.
naming holidays that he can spend with his friends instead of his family.
No, but that's why I'm saying Christmas is kind of makes Thanksgiving irrelevant because it's like a month later you see everyone and it just is like Thanksgiving's a little free trial to Christmas.
I'm going to start pushing like the narrative. I don't know exactly how to word this. Something about like, if you like Christmas more than Thanksgiving, you something capitalism, something.
That's my thing with 4th of July. It's like 4th of July. I'm not the world's biggest patriot here. I don't think that's a big secret. But I do like 4th of July, not like just because I like food and I like my cabin and I like hanging out.
Yeah, no, if you
summer.
like Christmas more than Thanksgiving, fine, but you're a capitalist.
You're a communist if you like Thanksgiving, which is sharing more than the 4th of July, which is true American values.
Then
American holiday, exclusively American holiday.
I guess you're right.
Listen,
Christmas over 4th of July, Christmas sharing, buying things for other people, distribute.
Actually, it's the season of giving. It's the season of giving, not the season of getting.
And I'll say the other thing about 4th of July food, it's a lot easier to have 4th of July food on other days. It happens much more often.
Yes.
You don't really have Thanksgiving food on other days.
But the reason for that is it's a lot of work. Like making a whole turkey, like Thanksgiving's a lot of work.
That's why I have
it is a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Get that.
And it's amazing.
I guess you could argue the reason you don't have it all the time is because it's not as good as a barbecue. But
I think I would much rather have ham, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and sweet potato casserole and like rolls every day of the week than like a hot dog and some corn on the cob.
Hot dog is not what I eat on 4th of July. I eat like ribs and like burgers.
My bad. Yeah. Let me get my hands all messy every single time.
You'd rather have ham and sweet potato casserole than like ribs and corn on the cob every day. Bad take.
Absolutely.
Bad take.
But you know what? I'm thinking of a TikTok idea where I review the corn souffle like at the table.
No, but you have
of
to.
The meal.
You should do that. That's a funny idea.
Absolutely have to.
I don't even know if I know what that is. I don't even know if I've had corn souffle. Is it?
I don't even know how to describe it. It's like
I probably have and just don't know what it's called.
You know what we didn't talk about that's actually fantastic? cornbread. Cornbread is amazing.
That's not really a Thanksgiving food to me, but I agree.
Cornbread's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess you can eat cornbread kind of anytime.
But
cornbread
you need milk with it, though. Cornbread's pretty good.
So what about desserts? I've heard a lot of bad takes. I think that
people
not
are
liking
slandering
pumpkin pie is kind of a childish take.
I think so,
I think
too.
you're a little baby if you think that.
I think so, too, man. You're speaking right now.
I would say that really actively disliking most desserts is kind of a bad take, honestly. Most desserts are pretty good.
I don't have a big sweet tooth. That's my thing.
Well, pie isn't super sweet. Pumpkin pie is not like this big sweet thing. It's one of the less sweet
I'm
desserts,
not a fan.
honestly.
I'm mostly not a fan of like pumpkin flavored thing, but I was mostly like referring to like cake. I don't really like cake. I think it's too sweet.
No one's
like
cake on Thanksgiving.
The pie that I really love is apple pie.
That would be a very strange holiday birthday to have. I've just thought of this.
If your birthday was on Thanksgiving, it was like turkey and cake and presents. It would literally just be Christmas.
That would be an awesome birthday. That would be an awesome birthday to have. Thanksgiving.
4th of July is a pretty cool birthday. There's usually stuff going on. And
yeah. The fireworks are for you.
Yeah.
My little sister has her birthday fall on Easter occasionally.
That's like a non-holiday.
It's a non-holiday. I mean, I'm not
That's like
from a religious family, so
yeah,
it is,
as someone who's
at this point for me, it's just a normal day, Easter. So but again,
when did that happen?
That's not true.
When did it stop being? I remember Easter egg hunts used to really be awesome.
They used to really be awesome.
You'd find a quarter in it, and I'd be like, awesome.
Yes, sir. Jelly beans. High school. Once I was in high school, it's like I'm done with the Easter egg hunts. Middle school, yeah, you're good. High school, it's like, it's not really a big thing for me anymore.
We still do Easter a little bit in my house just because I have the 10-year-old sister. So
yeah. We do baskets. We don't hide eggs around. We do the baskets still. We still paint eggs and we still hide a basket, but it's not like a whole egg. We paint eggs, but we just put them in the refrigerator and eat them. We still paint them though. And I like painting eggs. It's creative. I like creative things.
I'm no good at painting eggs.
I'm not either, but I like to try.
You don't have to be. You just like dip them in food coloring and then just like draw on them.
It's not just that. Yeah, you do have to draw on them.
You know, something that the Easter egg hunt reminded me of that has like nothing to do with anything. You'd get coins in there. And you know what coins I used to always see and now you never see them?
Canadian coins?
Sacagawea coins. What happened to those? I remember those used to be like I don't know if this sounds stupid, but like I used to see them all the time. They used to be so cool to get. I feel like I had a ton and now I have not seen or heard of them in like a decade.
That's because my friend is hoarding them all. She has a bag of the other day. She pulled out a bag and she's like, I have $32 in coins in here. I was like, what? And that was like a couple days ago. So talk to her.
Interesting.
She has all of the dollar coins. I don't know if Sacagawea was on them though. I just know that they were.
You guys know what
coins.
I'm talking about though, right?
I do know what you're talking. Yes. I do know what you're talking about.
Maybe that's just like specific to my childhood.
That truly doesn't have anything to do with
random memory. Do you guys want to talk about the Thanksgiving games?
They're all pretty mid. Bears at Lions, Raiders at Cowboys, and Bills at Saints.
I mean, like we're doing a podcast, so I can't. So like, we're going to talk about it, but I want to say no. Like, no, I don't want to talk about them.
Bills fans.
Bills at Saints is probably the most interesting one to me, just because I want to see if the Bills offense can get back on track here, and the Saints defense also has to get back on track here because they got shellacked today. Yeah, that's probably the one that interests me most because something's got to get right. I would guess probably the Bills offense, but I don't know. The Saints might be better equipped because, like you said, the Eagles ran the ball so much, and that's what really got the Saints. The Bills really can't run the ball, so maybe that'll help out the Saints again.
Not only do they not run the ball, they can't.
They can.
Their run game is awful.
So that's probably the game that interests me the most. Raiders at Cowboys is Bears at Lions is it's not even it's a bad game. So
the Lions could get
Bills
their first
Saints
win.
Is probably the most intriguing.
That
would be cool.
This is what we're looking for.
That's
the
a good storyline.
Lions either get their first win or their second tie. Anything other than that is a disappointment.
Thanksgiving tie.
Thanksgiving tie.
It's just what I need.
all 3 games tie.
Matt would be extremely thankful. Matt would be extremely thankful.
All right.
Of course, because then a team would have a 2 by their name instead of the 1, and that's when things really start getting crazy.
That would be crazy.
Crazy.
All right. Anything else for this episode?
Other than that, Theo needs to like figure out why he hates Thanksgiving so much.
I don't hate it. It's just it's just
no. You obviously hate it. You listed like every holiday, and we're like, yeah, Thanksgiving's worse.
Easter's not. I agree. New Year's is not.
You literally said Easter was
not that many
holiday.
St. Patrick's not. So there's not that many holidays. There's only like 5.
That's not saying. Imagine if you pulled out the St. Patrick Day is better than Thanksgiving.
For some people in Chicago who are Irish, they probably think it is. It's probably a blast for some people.
There's a very limited number of people who would think that. It's a very specific type of person.
Well, there's only like 4 holidays in that case, and it's like Halloween, Christmas. It's it's
and Thanksgiving
of the 5. It's like 4.
Valentine's Day.
Holidays, worst case scenario, Thanksgiving is the second best holiday.
And I don't mean. Does that make me sound like
Valentine's Day
like
is only good if you're in a relationship?
Is it even good if you're in a relationship, or does it feel?
Yes, it is.
Do you just feel pressure to do something nice?
No, if you like actually care about the person, no, it's good. I promise.
I'll take your word for it. I'll have to take your word for it, to be completely honest.
Radio silence after that.
I personally disagree. I agree that it's just pressure.
Okay.
I don't think so, but that's just me. But yeah, no, Thanksgiving's actually a really good holiday. Theo's just crazy. And I do think that does wrap things up for us. Unless, Theo, you want to quickly talk about your bets, but we kind of already did that.
My bets.
I think
I want to bet today. I won a 3-leg parlay. I said this earlier. I had the Texans scoring over 16 points. It hit. I had the Patriots going over 3.5 or covering 3.5. It hit. Yes. And then I sort of hit the Mickey Mouse Dolphins scoring over 24 points. They scored exactly 24.
And they didn't score over 24 points.
But they didn't score under 24
function
points.
Differently than the
Stay hot locks. I hit all 3 of mine. I avoided that Tennessee Titans trap game, and what can I say? Because I thought about it, and I thought about the Ravens. So
I got to come out.
I've got a substantial lead there, and that's my update.
Oh, before we get out, I am down in fantasy by 2.3 points. And I quickly picked up the Giants defense just to give me a chance at winning this matchup.
Love your odds, but I mean, what do you got to do to get 2 points from a defense? Defense scoring sucks. I hate defenses in fantasy.
Sleeper gives me like a 16% chance to win. So
they can't get they can't get 3 points. I bet you have a 60%. They're going to get more than 3 points.
They're playing Tampa, and they are expected to score 1.6 points. Yeah. It is. My defense was on a bye. That's why I had to do it. So I was like, I was just going to sit it out and be like, I won't play a defense this week, but I'm down by 2.3. I had to do something, and Giants were the only team that was available to be picked up right now. So we'll see. We'll see. It's either going to hit the fan or I'm going to win. But that does wrap things up for us. We will be back. Actually, we won't be back later this week because that's why this episode is so long. I didn't mention that earlier. We're not going to be releasing an episode on Friday, and that's why this episode was so long. We wanted to cover as much as we could, and we did that. So we will be back next week. Same time, same place. Tons and tons of content coming your way on all platforms. Hopefully everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving if they celebrate it. And as always, from Corn Boy, Gambling Addiction Boy, and your Lemon Boy, here are the Stay Hot shoutouts, and we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
This is Blaiden from California, and I am scared of any running back who knows who Jerry Tillery is. And Najee Harris, they terrify me. Also, I think his backup will be better. Goodbye. Evan Lawson.
Hey guys, this is Max from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I love the podcast, but what I don't love is Blaiden fucking jinxing my team on the final drive of the game. Thanks for that. Really appreciate it.
My name is Julio. I'm a Broncos fan, and oh my god, if the Lions do not win that time we play them, I swear to God, they're fucking beating us. That is the most Broncos, Vic Fangio, Pat Shermer, stupid ass thing to do is lose to the Lions. God damn.